Well, oh well. So you have one business, maybe even two businesses, and you've been running at least one of them for a long time, and people know you as being an entrepreneur, but you have a dirty little secret, don't you? I know you are displeased with your business. I know you've been trying to have long meetings to figure out what's wrong. I know that these meetings have slowly been killing you. We both know your business could be doing better. And you kind of have a vague idea of what you should do, but no time to do it because you keep getting interrupted. What if I told you that the more you try to do it, the worse it does? You know when you're like running in a field and those spiky things in the field get caught in your clothes? That's what's happening to you every day. You keep delaying addressing the issue. All the unaddressed, unoptimized parts of your business. As a business owner, you probably already know that 80% of the problems are people problems. That's true. But you think that changing the people, i.e., firing and hiring, will fix the problem. Bro, let me tell you something about that. I live in Dubai. So 90% of the people here are expats. And believe me when I tell you, they're not expats like me and you. These people barely speak any English. Most are really not the best at what they do. Some of them even get lost trying to navigate the city, or they get distracted, or they straight up leave to another country eventually. And yet, look at Dubai. Look at what has been achieved here. Why do you think that is? Say it with me, everybody. The systems. Now, let me tell you what that means. That means clear roles and responsibility. Everybody knows what they should and shouldn't do. That means anti-fragile processes built with redundancy. That means continuous feedback and improvement because you don't know what you don't know. Speaking of things you know and you don't know, do you know the. Wait. Speaking of you don't know what you don't know, this is a really bad video. I don't know what to say. Like, I know the lighting is good, but the video is bad. I will stop the prompter. This is stupid. So, you clicked on this video because you're a business owner and you're not very pleased with what's going on in your business. You're not very pleased because you work hard, everybody seems to be working hard in the business, but somehow the profit margin isn't that great. Like, you guys make some good money, you have pretty decent revenue, like maybe you're even doing over 1 million a year or something, maybe 5 million. but like the profit margin is barely there, and that's really not the reason why you started a business. Because instead of growing and expanding this business, you're more like keeping it afloat. And this video is for you. If you're sold about the part with the systems, you can do it by yourself. I have on this channel many videos on the topic, and you can probably binge watch all of them and eventually kind of figure out what type of systems work in your business. Or you can click on the link below where I kind of explain the five-step process that I have for my clients. You can click the video below where I explain the five-step process that I apply for my clients, and eventually make their business sellable, if that is what they please. But let's get back to what I was saying. I was saying, oh my god, this video is so bad. I don't know if I'm gonna post it, but anyway, I was gonna make an analogy. I will go get my notes though. I think what's important to mention is that yes, I can help you implement some better systems for the business to, first of all, grow profit margin, but then because you have all the systems in place, you can actually grow revenue. But the ultimate purpose of this exercise is to make your business sellable. So I highly believe in building businesses that become sellable assets, because just because you decided at one point that you want to be an interior designer, and then you first were designing yourself for other clients, and then eventually the thing got bigger and you started needing to hire some other people, and then you had to bring in the clients for this, and now you even have some people for that, and you know, you're tending to this garden, but maybe you don't want to be a gardener anymore. Maybe you want to be like a horseback rider. You should have the possibility to do so. And the reason why we have all these systems in place, if you decide to work with me, is you don't have to garden anymore, because there's like a whole bunch of gardeners who have the proper equipment to do the gardening, and you can just go horseback riding. And if somebody comes along and says, that's a really cool garden, how much for the garden? You can say 5.2 EBITDA. And then you can go on your merry way and take your money and develop horse stables or something, like start breeding horses. And then you put the systems in place for that business, and then maybe some other person comes along, this business, you got like 50 horses, and you're doing very well, and you don't want horses anymore. Maybe you want race car driving. And someone comes along who's really passionate about horses and says, this is a really cool stable. How much for the stable? And you say, because it's horses, you say 3.2 EBITDA. That's your right. That's your democratic right, your free market right to be able to sell your business. But as I see it now, your business is probably shit. Your business is unsellable because you're the one doing the gardening. And I don't want what am I gonna do? Like, if I want your garden, do I have to keep you on the payroll? Like, what the fuck is that? And maybe you're not even on the payroll. Maybe you're just like earning money from the profit. Like, what do you do then? Like, what should I hire you if I want your garden? Like, what is this? This is an unsellable garden. Like, what is this shit? So yes, this is what we can do together. And I was about to read off the prompter over there to say, to make an analogy with the story of the Tower of Babylon. So if you please, I would like to tell that story because I think it's a lovely story and I think it makes a lot of sense. So the story says that there was a time in which um, all humankind was speaking only one language, and they got together and they built a society where like they would understand each other because they had this language, and allegedly, of course. And they managed to come together and build a collaborative society that was so good that they got their shit together and built a tower that was so tall that it reached all the way to the heavens. It reached God. And the story says that God got pissed off and smited them down and destroyed the tower and made everybody speak different languages. The people eventually began having misunderstandings and having conflicts because they were speaking different languages. Now, let's think about the story from a contemporary perspective. One language for all means a pretty basic language, right? Language itself is a result of many things, of local culture, of local shared experience, and a shared perspective, shaped by a common way of thinking. So having one language for so many people means the language itself was pretty basic. And as such, they weren't necessarily talking per se, they were understanding each other through actions, through basic systems. Now, I'm pretty big on reading. Like, I go to the Dubai Mall that way, and I read like 2 to 3 books a day. I steal the knowledge because I don't really buy the books. And I read some of the sacred books as well. I concluded that this mention of speaking only one language is actually a beautiful metaphor for how God created, how we experience unity, and created in a godlike way. Because if we aren't separated, we could reach God. Now, I want you to do one thing. I want you to like stretch your hand like this, open it. And I want you to say out what you see. Do you see 5 fingers? Well, you should see the spaces between. Focus on the process, not the people. You see, that's what Lean Six Sigma is all about. We strip everything from all the unnecessary bullshit. We focus on specific, measurable outcomes that we want to achieve. We try, we check to see what happened, and then we further refine. If you want to do that, you can do it alone. Like I mentioned before, I have an entire playlist about this on the channel. But if you think you could need a little help with that, I can also help you. There is a link below so you can learn more about that. I do not have like books and courses and like paid communities and stuff. I only have the relationship between me and you. So you can either watch this next video on how I explain a little bit about what I can do for you, or you can go a little deeper and look under the hood of my 5-step process by clicking the link below in the description. About this video that I'm recommended right here, I have to mention that I'm not in the best shape because it's literally one day after my fiance broke up with me. And I really had to shoot it because my brand strategist told me to. Shout out Henry. And I've been told I have beyond soulless eyes in it, and it's because of the breakup. Thank you for watching.